Madhvacharya was there, and others. And it is said
Hare
that all these
Krishna,
devotees,
Hare
somehow or another,
Krishna,
they were fully absorbed in pure devotional service. They were fully absorbed in pure love of God, but they did not recognize each other in their eternal identity. They
Hare
did not.
Krishna,
But they felt
Krishna
attracted to each
Krishna,
other. They were
Hare
associated
Hare,
with each other.
Hare
So how is
Rama, Hare
this
Rama,
that they were fully
Rama
realized in the same
Rama,
field and
Hare
identity?
Hare,
We
Hare
we take
Krishna,
it that
Hare
this is simply
Krishna,
Yogananda, that
Krishna
Krishna is
Krishna,
Paramahansa, that
Hare
Yogamaya is
Hare,
facilitated by
Hare
Bhakti.
Rama, Hare Rama,
This is the
Rama
traditional way.
Rama,
So
Hare
sometimes
Hare,
one may remember,
Hare
sometimes one may not.
Krishna, Hare
So
Krishna, Krishna
not that everyone has
Krishna,
origami
Hare Hare,
Tika. It's a holy
Hare
spoon, you know.
Rama,
That's it.
Hare Rama,
Who are you?
Rama
It's okay.
Rama, Hare Hare.
So to facilitate pastimes of Chaitanya, that kind of remembrance is not always easy. And then this whole Gauragana, this Nitika, yeah, it's like sometimes it's just, it is said, it is believed, it is
Hare
not always completely sure.
Krishna, Hare
Some
Krishna,
say, right?
Krishna
My father is
Krishna,
also a
Hare
Sikh,
Hare,
and I'm saying,
Hare
so it's not like, okay, here's the
Rama,
Gauragana,
Hare
Nitika,
Rama,
100% sure.
Rama Rama,
It's
Hare
really
Hare,
also
Hare.
gathered information from the Vaishnavas at the time of the eternal identity that the associates of Gauranga veneration had. It was not all just ideas.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
What does
Hare,
that mean when I say
Hare
here we are fully cognizant?
Rama, Hare
That means we
Rama,
will know that
Rama
Krishna loves us.
Rama, Hare
We will never be
Hare,
omniscient. Right? So when the living being, the jiva, becomes fully cognizant in the spiritual world, that doesn't mean that the jiva is like Krishna, who knows everything. The jiva will know what Krishna wants to know.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I'm asking one more time. So just our batteries are recharged. Maharaj, how can one go from Kanishta stage to Madhyama stage? Can you please give us some techniques or points? So just to going to a place where there is no sun for 3 months. So I need my batteries recharged.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
From Norway,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
from India,
Hare
from South India,
Rama, Hare
just from
Rama,
Norway. That's a
Rama
little bit tough.
Rama, Hare Hare.
How do you recharge your batteries? Well, first you come here, then you go back there and chant Hare Krishna. That's what we do
Hare
as far as the Bangalore
Krishna,
5
Hare
principles
Krishna,
Baptist devotional
Krishna
service. They're selected
Krishna,
because theirs
Hare
is
Hare,
especially powerful,
Hare
especially effective.
Rama, Hare
So there's no
Rama,
like hidden secret
Rama
that you do
Rama,
to chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare.
Read ears from the Bhagavatam, associate with devotees, just worship the deity, keep the atmosphere like Vrindavan.
Hare
What's up? Great to have a
Krishna,
scholar with
Hare
us again.
Krishna, Krishna
Yeah,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
We're in the Holy Dham, and there are many different types of Nam Seva. And one type of Dham Seva is Dham Smarana. So,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
the Dham by simply by and maybe a footnote to the footnote is you could make it a practice to read translation of Bodhan, the Saraswati.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Not meant as a discouragement, but there's many nice things in Sri Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Because when they leave the Dham, they are going on a mission to Krishna consciousness, and therefore they're situated in the highest place. When you are in Oslo and dancing around in Highland Sankirtan, like you told me yesterday,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
in executing the Yuga Dharma and being the instrument of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's not that you're leaving Vrindavan and have to just live there in total separation.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
No.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Plumping. Yeah. And he was getting them for all this
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Kadamba Kanana Maharaj and I, we've been reading Srimad Bhagavatam every day, chapter after chapter. And in our readings the other day, we came across this. After we've been reading Krishna consciousness, and we came across this section which was astonishing, really.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Left their body and so on. And in that discussion, Srila Prabhupada brings up this, introduces, Prabhupada's just essentially translating verse after verse of Bhagavatam in the Krishna book, but sometimes he adds something.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
The Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter,
Krishna Krishna,
the Lord states that one who's
Hare
engaged in
Hare,
preaching Krishna
Hare
consciousness
Rama,
is very dear to
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
in his struggle to preach pure Krishna consciousness. Sometimes he has to suffer bodily injuries. Sometimes he has to meet death also. All this is taken as a great austerity on behalf of Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Then what to speak of persons who are so dear to Krishna? The conclusion should be that the salvation of those who are engaged in preaching Krishna consciousness in the world is guaranteed in all circumstances.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
You should always rest assured that one who's attracted by Krishna attains liberation from material bondage, because Krishna is the transcendental master of all mystic powers. And now I'm remembering the context here that Krishna Maharaj asked, how is it that the Gopis...
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
And Sukadeva Goswami says, I've already answered it. Shishupal was thinking of Krishna enviously, and he attained perfection because his mind was concentrated on Krishna. So what to speak of? He wasn't thinking of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was just thinking
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Those who are most dear to me are those who are preaching the message of Krishna. And Prabhupada speaking, of course, from his personal experience, because that's what he did. So we shouldn't doubt. We shouldn't think, well, unless I spend 10 hours a day in bhajan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
The most dear to Krishna, and then liberation is like a fig. You get that automatically, but you get love for Krishna. Take that back to me.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
They're all not quite angry, but Prabhupada takes it in that direction. It's frustration. And that frustration results in limitation. Individuality is so bad.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
That doesn't give you a specific character.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rejected by all the others, and so what we know cynics and those who refute to but I can't resist.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shrimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shrimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Mathura Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
There was the juice can the other day. He pointed out to me
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlada Ladadaine.
Oh, yeah, racing for. Oh, you'll give us the last good job.
Yato yato yami tato
People
nrsimha.
are influenced by different philosophies.
Pahi nrsimho,
Jnana yoga,
hridaye
meditation.
nrsimho.
We can see that from
Narasimha mading sharanam prapadye.
there's a lot of emphasis on meditation.
Savakara
So they
kamalavare
bring their
nakam
thinking
adbhuta
and then
shringam
rather than
dalita hiranyakashipu
open source that
tanu bringam keshavadrita narahari rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare.
the point is yogi namati sarva sammatpate is pointing at bhakti. So please just misinterpret positively. People do other philosophies. And the certain we can warn that there are many crocodiles. There's a verse Krishna Prabhu that about a child that when the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can cross an ocean which is filled with the crocodiles of
Lord Nrsimhadev Ki Jai, Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai.
so many theories out there. People are being swayed by this or influenced, even unknowingly. That is why Bhagavad Gita is nothing to say. Bhakti is the ultimate. Bhakti is the means, bhakti is the goal. It's not just the path, it is also the perfection. It's more than a
You know the fast food? How do you learn fasting?
It's easy, you just gotta find it.
It's about the skill to learn fast moving hand.
Chapter 14, verse 9.
But how some people
Not
do
today,
that? Don't move very much. What I do is, because they're using their wrists,
Krishnadas
not
Kaviraj
their
offers
hands.
obeisance
Instead of going like this,
to
their hands.
Lord Chaitanya, who, by remembering him, that which is difficult becomes easy.
But it's
And by
that's for
forgetting
like a slower
that
path.
which is easy
So
becomes
like
difficult.
this one right here.
So, to this issue of
It's all about
which path is going to be difficult or easy,
yeah,
or
that's
sure
mostly
or
that's
not so
mostly
sure.
what it's about.
We call it Krishnadas Khandura. I offer my respects to those. Because if something is going to be difficult, he's going to make it easy. And of course, what does Lord Chaitanya specifically give us? He gives us the path of
Yeah, it's slow, that's why.
Namo
You do it
Mahabharata
really slow for a long time. You'll be able to use
Krishna
the
Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gurapite.
yeah, you're still using your hand, but that's fine.
Okay, tell me what am I
Just
missing?
go slower. You need also a metronome. You know what a metronome
Thank you
is?
for appearing and making very nice
Yeah,
comments. Thank you. We hope to see more of you.
What's the difference between using hand and using wrist? Can you show me that slowly?
So using the arm is more like you got to go slow in order to see it. But when you're using your arms, you're going like I can't do it because my arms are too big. But when you're using your arm, yes, exactly. When you're using your wrist, you can go as fast as you want. I like to go like this. It's easier for me for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, I'm gonna get everything set up.
It's the benefit of, sometimes we forget the difference between distributing books and preaching, is the benefit of selling
The left
books
hand dominant, right
as
hand.
good as the benefit of speaking about the philosophy. Prabhupada said it's more. Prabhupada said it, what your 15 minutes, what will your 5 minutes of speaking do? But if he takes a book, his whole life can change. So Prabhupada, of course, it doesn't mean we're not going to speak, we're not going to, but Prabhupada gave so much importance to the distribution of books as the bigger kirtan. Preaching means kirtan.
You just use
So
one
I'll
hand
speak something
and you keep the other
about
one.
Krishna. Someone will hear. That's very good.
I don't know how to do it.
But the book is the bigger kirtan, Prabhupada
You know Radha Damodar, right?
said. He takes a book, it stays with him, he reads, he gets more, he gets more, he gets more. Others get it.
You don't know.
So
So
Prabhupada
Radha Damodar,
gave more importance to the
his wife's
book
name was
distribution as
Martine Kaler.
bigger kirtan than
But
just
anyway,
speaking. If we go out there, we meet a very
him and
interesting
another
person,
devotee named Maturanath,
we spend
they would
2
be the
hours
technical
preaching to him,
healers.
and then he goes away, and that was nice. But if he takes a book, and then would you like a book? No, that's all right. But if he takes a book,
They were able to
so much substance you get.
kind of like that.
So both are wanted. We want to speak about Krishna, and especially when a person's interested, someone's inquisitive, and so on. But our book distribution Prabhupada considered better than just talking. Is that okay?
Okay, let's do the class.
Yep. Of course, when you're preaching, you're speaking the same thing as Prabhupada, so that has potency. But it's true. You give them the book, and they're hearing from
Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Rupam Shakrajataham Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Should I start? Chapter 1. Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Dhritarashtra uvacha Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yudhuksavaha Mamaka Pandavakshaiva Kimakurvakta Sanjaya. Should we repeat it 3 times or what?
Just once.
Okay.
Do 10 verses all one time.
Okay, 10 verses once.
Or 11 verses. 11 verses, yeah. Which means we'll go to chapter 1, text 10 tonight.
Chapter 1, text 10.
We'll go to chapter, because we will
10. Okay. Sanjaya uvacha Dhritarashtvatu Pandavanikam Yuktam Duryodanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. Should I read the translation too? Okay. Chapter 1, text 1. Dhritarashtra Vacha. O Sanjaya, after assembling in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do, being desirous to fight? Text 2. Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army gathered by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and began to speak the following words. Paschaitam Panduputranam Acharya Mahatim Chamim Yuddham Dropad Buddha. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, son of Drupada. Text 4. Atra Shura Maheshvreyasa Himajuna Samayudha Yudhono Viratascha Drupadascha Maharata. Here is this army. They are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting with Bhima and Arjuna. They are also great fighters like Yudhudhana, Virat, and Drupada.
Text 5. Drishtaketus Chikitana Kashirajascha Viva Gurujikum Gurujascha Shaikascha Pundaha. Translation. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chikitana, Kashiraj, Gurujit, Kuntiboja, and Shaikascha. Text 6. Yudhamanyusha Vikranta Utamojas Shavirya Sobhadro Prabhuteyascha Sarvaheva Maharata. Translation. They are the mighty Utham and very powerful Utamoja, the son of Subhadra, and the son of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Text 7. Asmakam tu vishishtaye kanibodhajotama nayakana samyasya sangyatam tandamite. Translation. Blessed Brahmanas, for your information,
chapter 1, text 8, page 40. Bhavan Bhishmascha Karnascha Krupascha Samiti Jaya Ashwatthama Vikarnascha Samudhapis Tathaivacha Samadhastisatevacha. There are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the sons of Somadatta or Purushrava, who are always victorious in battle. So you want to read? You want to read verse 9? What's that? If you didn't read one.
अन्यथा बहवः सुरमर्ते त्याक्ता जीविता नानाशास्त्र प्रहरण सर्वे युद्ध विसरागा. Anya means many others are also Bahava in great numbers. Sura, heroes, Mother Day, for my sake, Jakta, Sita. Prepared to risk life. Nana, many. Shastra, weapons, Praharana. Equipped with swords, all of them. Yuddha, battle, Visarada. Experienced in military science. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science.
Strength is immeasurable and was perfectly protected by God for grandfather Krishna, whereas the strength of the Pandava carefully protected by Bhima and Vishnu.
We'll do the translation of purport, and if we finish the translations of purport before the time is up, which is 8:20, we will keep reading the translation of purports. So text 1, chapter 1. Dhritarashtra said, O Sundara, after assembling the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, what did Mon-Sun and son of Pandu do? He desired to fight. Purport. Bhagavad Gita is the widely read these 6 sons, summary and Gita Mahatmya, purification of the Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita, very good enlightenment with the help of the person who is the body of Sri Krishna, and that on its own without
Created interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjuna, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession, without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The topics discussed by Dhritarashtra and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Dharmashetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. Dhritarashtra, the father of the Kurus, was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjaya, "What did my sons and the sons of Pandu do?" He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want to compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven, Dhritarashtra became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjuna and the sons of Pandu favorably, because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjaya was a student of Vyas, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyas, Sanjaya was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra, even while he was in the room of Dhritarashtra. And so, Dhritarashtra asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dhritarashtra belonged to the same family, but Dhritarashtra's mind is disclosed herein. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dhritarashtra in his relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. As in the paddock field, the unnecessary plants are taken out, so it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dhritarashtra's son Duryodhana and others would be wiped out, and the thoroughly religious persons, headed by Yudhishthira, would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharmashetra and Kurukshetra, apart from their historical and Vedic importance.
Sanjaya Uvacha Drudrashtvatu Pandavanikam Yuttam Duryodanastada Acharyam Upasangaya Raja Vachana Abravit. Should I read the word to word or you can directly go to the words? Sanjaya said, O king, after looking over the army gathered by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and began to speak the following words. Purport. Dhritarashtra was blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. He knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matters of religion, and he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious since birth. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive. Sri Gaurnita Jai. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjaya could understand his motive in asking about the situation on the battlefield. He He wanted, therefore, to encourage the despondent king, and thus he warned him that his sons were not going to make any sort of compromise. Under the influence of the holy place, Sanjaya therefore informed the king that his son Duryodhana, after seeing the military force of the Pandavas, at once went to the commander in chief Dronacharya to inform him of the real position. Although Duryodhana is mentioned as the king, he still had to go to the commander on account of the seriousness of the situation. He was therefore quite fit to be a politician. But Duryodhana's diplomatic veneer could not disguise the fear he felt when he saw the military arrangements of the Pandavas. Haribo. Haribo, Eva.
Pashaitam Panduputranam Achara Mahatem Jamu Yudham Trupata Putrena Tava Shishena Dhimata. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. Purport: Duryodhana, a great diplomat, wanted to point out the defects of Dronacharya, the great Brahmana commander-in-chief. Dronacharya had some political quarrel with King Drupada, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjuna's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupada performed a great sacrifice by which he received the benediction of having the son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet, as a liberal Brahmana, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets when the son of Drupada, Drishtadyumna, was entrusted to him for military education. Now, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Drishtadyumna took the side of the Pandavas, and it was he who arranged for their military phalanx. After having learned the art from Dronacharya, Duryodhana pointed out this mistake of Dronacharya so that he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. By this, he wanted to point out also that he should not be in similar. By this, he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in battle against the Pandavas, who were also Dronacharya's affectionate students. Arjuna especially was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Duryodhana also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat.
Text 4. Translation. Here in this army there are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. There are also great fighters like Yudhana, Virata, and Drupada. Purport. Even though Drishtadyumna was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya's very great power in the military art, there were many others who were the cause of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory, because each and every one of them was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the others with them.
Text 5. Drishtaketuscha Ketana Kashirachascha Viryavan Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Shopyascha Chanara Pungava. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chiketana, Kashiraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shabya. Should we read the next one too? Text 6. Yuddhaman yascha vikranta uttama jascha viryavan Shobhadro Dropadeyaksha Sarva Eva Maharate. There are the mighty Yuddhamanyo, the very powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Very well.
Text 7. अस्माकं तु विशेषताये तानि निबोधा द्विजोत्तमा नायका मामासन्यस्य समनार्थं तं प्रवीमिते. O best of the Brahmanas, for your information, let me tell you about the captains who are especially qualified to lead my military force.
Text 8. Translation. There are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, called Bodhisattva, who are always victorious in battle. Purport. Duryodhana mentioned the exceptional heroes in the battle, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhana. Ashwatthama is the son of Drona Acharya, and Somadatti, or Bodhisattva, is the son of the king of the Palikas. Karna is the half-brother of Arjuna, as he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Dronacharya married the twin sister of Kripacharya.
Text 9. Anye cha bahava shora mad arthya tyakta jivitha nana shastra praharana sarve yuddha vishoradha. Translation. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons, and all are experienced in military science. But by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kritavarma, Shalya, etc., all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhana's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra for joining the party of a sinful Duryodhana. Duryodhana was, of course, confident of his victory on account of the above-mentioned combined strength of his friends.
Text 10. Our strength is immeasurable, and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhisma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhima, is limited. Purport. Herein, an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhana. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general, grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by a less experienced general Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Duryodhana was always envious of Bhima, because he knew perfectly well that he should die at all. He would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained.
Text 11. Translation. Now all of you must give full support to Grandfather Bhishma, standing at your respective strategic points in the phalanx of the army. Purport. Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So, in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Dev was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but he was an old man, so everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes would not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Dev. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya in the battle, because he knew well that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to strip naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two great generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that all such affection would now be completely given up by them, as was customary during the gambling performances.
Text 12. Tasya Sanjayan Harsham Kuru Vriddha Pitamaha Simhanadam Vinadyoshchaya Shankham Dadamu Prathapavan. Then Bhishma, the great violent grand seer of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, like the sound of a lion, giving Dronacharya joy. Giving Duryodhana joy. Purport. The grand seer of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But still, it was his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection.
Did not speak at all. Yeah, saying about the other party, and our party is this, that party is that, the Vishnu is the party. I'm going to 820. Should I continue? Yeah.
Text 13. Tata Shankascha Bharyascha Pandavanaka Gomukha Sahasevabhya Hanyanta Shobhadas Tumalo Abhavat. After that, the conch shells, bugles, trumpets, drums, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Text 14. Tata Shveter Hayer Yukte Mahati Shenada Nestitu Madhava Pandavaschaiva Divya Shankahu Pradhamato. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Hariva Parpat. In contrast with the conch shell blown by Bhishma Dev, the conch shells on the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described as transcendental. The sounding of the transcendental conch shell indicated that there was no hope of victory on the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jayastu Panduputranam Yasham Pakshe Janardhana. Victory is always with the persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. And whenever and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna, as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conch shells of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated was donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna. And this indicated that the chariot was capable of conquering all sides, wherever it was drawn, all over the three worlds. Haribol. So for the last verse 13, Tumalha, tumultuous. The English word tumultuous is coming from Sanskrit word Tumalha, or like Timingala, fish. Big, massive, and loud.
Oh, I see what you
Tumultuous.
mean. Yeah.
Verse 15. Panchajanyam Rishikesha Devadattam Dhananjaya Pundram Dadamu Maha Shankam Bhima Karma Vikhodara. Then Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima, the voracious eater and the performer of Herculean task, blew his terrific conch shell called Pundram. Haribo, puppet by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha in this verse because he is the owner of all senses. The living entity are part and parcel of him, and therefore the senses of the living entity are also part and parcel of his senses. The impersonalists cannot account for the senses of the living entity, and therefore they are always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal. The Lord, situated in the hearts of all living entities, directs their senses, but he directs in terms of the surrender of the living entity. And in the case of the pure devotee, he directly controls the senses. Here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha. The Lord has different names according to his different activities. For example, his name is Madhusudana because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. His name is Govinda because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. His name is Vasudeva because he appeared as the son of Vasudeva. His name is Devaki Nandana because he accepted Devaki as his mother. His name is Yashoda Nandana because he awarded his childhood pastimes to Yashoda at Vrindavan. His name is Parthasarthi because he worked as charioteer of his friend Arjuna. Similarly, his name is Rishikesha because he gave direction to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya in this verse because he helped his elder brother in fetching wealth when it was required by the king to make expenditures for different sacrifices. Similarly, Bhima is known as Vikhodara because he could eat as voraciously as he could perform Herculean tasks, such as killing the demon Hidamba. So, the particular type of conch shell blown by the different personalities on the side of the Pandavas, beginning with the lords, were all very encouraging to the fighting soldiers. On the other side, there were no such credits, nor the presence of Lord Krishna, the supreme director, nor that of the goddess of fortune. So they were predestined to lose the battle. And thus was the message announced by the sounds of the conch shell. Text 16 to 18. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishtrita Nakula Sahadevascha Sugosha Manipushpako Kasyascha Paramevaksha Shikhandi cha Maharata Drishtadumno Viratascha Shatyakischa Parajita Drupado Drupadeyascha Sarvasha Pri Pri Pritahi Vipate Sobhadrascha Mahabhavu Shankadadmu Pratak 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 Pratak, each separately. Pratak Pratak. King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell. The Ananta Vijaya and Nakula and Sahadev blew the Shugosha and Mani Pushpaka. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter, Sikandi, Drushtadumnya, Virat, and the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupada, the son of Draupadi, and the others, O king, such as the son of Subhadra, greatly armed, all blew their respective conch shells. Papat. Sanjaya informed King Dhritarashtra very tactfully that his unwise policy of deceiving the sons of Pandu and endeavoring to enthrone his own sons on the seat of the kingdom was not very laudable. The signs already clearly indicated that the whole Kuru dynasty would be killed in the great battle, beginning with the grandseer Bhishma down to the grandsons like Abhimanyu and others, including kings from other states of the world. All were present there and all were doomed. The whole catastrophe was due to the king Dhritarashtra because he encouraged a policy followed by his son. Text 19. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Text 19.
And